Welcome to MSP Unplugged's Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Rick Smith. Today's topic is Christmas ideas holiday ideas for your clients. This is the place to learn tips, tricks, and strategies to help grow and build your IT service business. Whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey, this is the place for you. Now, allow me to introduce my co-host, a man who really needs no introduction. He's the one, the only, sipping on his syrup, Mr. Paco Lebron, man. How are you, sir?
First of all, I want to make sure that everyone knows on this call that this is water. There's no syrup, no lean, no any type of that situation being sipped on in this podcast. This is a family-friendly venture. And yes, I'm drinking my water out of my Spider-Man mug here. But I am doing fantastic, Mr. Rick Smith. How are you doing this fine Tuesday evening?
Doing okay. A little technical difficulties, but I'm doing okay. Glad to be here. Another Tuesday with you, hanging out. So today's topic, we're talking a little bit about ideas today for holiday gifts or holiday, whatever you may do to share with your clients, give them a little, thank you or appreciation, token of appreciation. Some of us feel we should give them to them. Some of us feel we shouldn't. But that's what we're just discuss a couple of ideas that Paco and I have and some things we're implementing at our respective organizations. But before we get started, I'd like to do a quick tip or story that that we've experienced probably over the week or something. So Paco, let's start with you there, sir.
Oh, we're starting with me today. All right. Well, it's not really it could be a tip. It's a story. It's probably frightening as all heck. Have you heard about this thing called ChatGPT, Rick?
I have not. No.
Okay. So it's been making its way around on the socials, on our industry, tons of videos out there. But I've seen it and I was just thinking like, it's just one more thing I got to worry about or one more thing I got to look at. I'll get to it or it's a fad. But man, this thing is actually pretty interesting. So my buddy sends me a link of the video that says, what is ChatGPT? And this freaking thing is basically, you can find it over on the actual URL. It's openai.com. And you can go ahead and click on try ChatGPT. But basically what this thing does is it's an open modern AI language that literally, if you type in anything inside, it will just write things out for you. So what people are saying for concern is you can literally say, hey, write me ransomware, and it'll push out a script for ransomware. So I was playing around with it earlier today, and I came out with things like scripts that I had been having troubles with. So like how to install Foxit PDF Pro on PowerShell. And it literally wrote out the PowerShell script right in front of me saying, hey, this is what it is. Can you write me a script that installs PowerShell PDF silently and activate it with the key? It wrote out how to create the actual thing, and it explains why it's doing these certain things. So it's pretty far out there. And even down to things like you just don't know, like, how to install the Acronis Cyber Protect agent. It'll put out a thing right there. Hey, how do I create a batch script for this? So that was just some of the things I kind of been messing around with it so far, but apparently it's this huge thing that you could do so much stuff on it. I'll put a link in the show notes. It may be a good tip for you all because, maybe you're having trouble with like batch scripts, API requests, things of that nature. But also there are things that, there's concern that if this is used in the inappropriate or not right way maliciously, which it does have a subtext that says, hey, this is educational purposes. And, you can even ask it, hey, is this a malicious thing? And if they wrote out a code, they'll say, although what we wrote is not malicious, it can be used maliciously and stuff like that. So it's really tripped out. You basically register an account. It checks to make sure you're not spam or bots. But yeah, it's tripped out, man. You should take it out.
Yeah. Now let me ask: is this is AI doing this, or this is just something that's pre-programmed?
No, this is AI. Like you can literally ask it whatever. then it'll do it right there and then.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yep, it's tripped out for sure. So that's my tip / story / Skynet is here.
Yeah, basically. Wow. I have a quick tip, something I've been working on the last couple of months. And I can't take credit for the idea, but I will pass it on. And I'm a partner of Lifecycle Insights. And one of the things they have is a tool that is called stack alignment.
Stack alignment.
In the stack alignment, basically what you do is you can list out your full, technology stack, everything you use. And what it will help you do is you align your clients to make sure they are getting, all of basically you're making sure that every tool that you're offering in your stack is actually associated to a client. So it's interesting as you go through, you realize, hey, they don't have X, or client B doesn't have this. Now that helps in two ways. One, for those of you who help me out, Paco, that tells you if you're overcharging or undercharging, that reconciles. Oh God, why can't I think of it? I'm just having my head now. You're muted.
That always happens one time in a year. You talk about gradient?
Gradient, thank you. Wow,
Yeah.
I apologize to you guys. It was just blowing my mind. So it's kind of similar.
I'd be doing you a disservice if I did not say gradient, as I am on their advisory council. So if I couldn't answer that question, they need to throw me out. So,
and I knew you would have it because I knew that, but I just couldn't think of the name at the time. But similar to what gradient does. Thursday. Oh, okay, right. I forgot about that. Hold on, now I lost. Okay, so
sorry.
With gradient, it helps you basically to see if what you're charging for clients lines up with, if you're overcharging, undercharging. It helps you see that, and it's kind of similar. Lifecycle Insights is very similar. Their stack alignment, but what it really does for me, it just helps me to see who is where they're supposed to be and who is not. And that could be just something small. You could have deployed everything that you thought you were supposed to and realize they don't have X or they don't have Y. In my case today, I found that I use Mail Protector. I found out for some reason I deployed Mail Protector on all the clients, and two clients supposed to have the bracket function. Two users in the client portal was supposed to have the bracket function, which gives them the ability to encrypt. So, it's just something I missed. And, I'm charging the client for it and they don't have it in the stack. And there was some other things that, on and off, but it's just something to, to make a short story long here. It's just, something I think we all should practice. I'm not necessarily saying you need to use Lifecycle Insights process, but if you do have your stack listed out, it is always just a good thing to go through your clients and make sure that they are actually getting what they're supposed to. You could be, if you have different versions of a stack, if you're using the metals or just the two or basic or advanced, make sure who's supposed to get basic or bronze is getting basic or bronze and not something else that they're not supposed to get. So just checking your stack alignment. That's my tip for today, just to be quick here. So moving on here, let's talk about the holidays. The holidays, we're coming down now. We're, as of this recording, it is December 13th. So we are actually 12 days away from Christmas. I think that makes us 13 days away from, Hanukkah. Is that right? I can't remember. I hope I got that right. I think Hanukkah starts the day after Christmas, if I'm correct. I hope I'm right on that. If I'm not, I do apologize. Either way, it is the holiday season for whatever you celebrate. So Paco and I we're having a discussion about what do we do or should do for our clients, just to, if anything, to give a gesture of thanks or appreciation for their business for the year. So we just wanted to talk about a few ideas we have, some things we've done in the past and some things we're going to do this year or in the process of doing. So Paco, if you don't mind, I'll let you start.
Of course you would. Of course you would. So correction, Hanukkah starts December 18th and it ends December 26th, according to the Google.
Okay, I got that backwards. Sorry. My apologies.
So yeah. So you know, as Rick mentioned, you know,
Sorry. Kwanzaa starts the day after Christmas.
Say what?
Kwanzaa starts the day after Christmas.
Ah, gotcha. Understood. Yeah. So, you know, really talking about year-end gift ideas, right? And figuring out how to be, you know, as inclusive to your, not only your clientele, but your staff as well, right? There may be views, religious views, you know, those that don't observe certain holidays. So it's important to kind of figure out, you know, how do you provide that, that gesture of appreciation to your clients, right? Without being insulting or, not rude, but not understanding. I can't think of the term right now, but you know, thank you, not being disrespectful to her, to their beliefs. So you know, over the last couple years, you know, I've learned to try and at least be a little bit more conscious of what gifts or what ideas that we do. So you know, the first question you get is, all right, if you're an emerging MSP IT solutions provider, you may not have any resources, but you do want to show some type of care or some type of token of appreciation to your clients, right? And so the great thing that you could do is you could fairly easily set up a really quick Christmas e-card, right? You can go ahead and set up an e-card right in your email system. You know, I know that Repair Shopper back in the day used to come out with these little small holiday emails that you could send out to your clients. You know, there are many templates that are out there that you can go ahead through, let's say MailChimp or any other things of that nature. So that's one way to kind of get in front of your clients, to just let them know you're thinking of them, and you know, it's in their inbox. So that's one option that you can go ahead and do. Now, if you have a little bit of resources or looking to try and take a little bit of a bigger noticeable stance, there's nothing like good old card stock and being able to go ahead and utilize those cards. So what we do is we tend to send a team card with snowflakes to, you know, inquire for those that do look at it. Looks like a holiday. For those that don't observe it, looks like it's the winter season. But really, it's their year-end thank you to everyone and all that they do. So we'll go ahead and get those shipped out. I forgot the company we use. Usually my customer success managers, who was my former office manager, handled all that. So we'll have to coordinate with our office coordinator. But I know that you send cards as well to your clients, Rick. What are some of the vendors that you use?
Well, you can do something as easy as Vistaprint. There's another company, the name escapes me right now, but I think both with Vistaprint and with this other company, you can do one. You can upload, design the card, and then you can have them shipped. You can basically put the addresses in and have them shipped to the customer from there, right? Rather than having them come to you and then you mail them out. I personally like to bring them in house and sign them, physically sign them, and then ship them out. And then, you know, send them from here. You know, the 90% of my clients are in the New Jersey area. So, you know, with normal times, it shouldn't take the car more than 2 to 3 days to get where it needs to go. So that's one option. I found out today, you know, in talking to Latrice when we were doing this year, she said another option is just you can go to the local, like Walgreens or CVS or any of those drugstores that do printing, and you can print them there or order them there to have them printed out on one of their printers, either a postcard style or have it fold, you know, a fold over card, things like that. So there are a lot of options when it comes to just sending cards. Now, I like to try to make sure everyone gets a card. If you've done business with us for the year, whether you are a managed client or, you know, we've for some reason done some kind of service work for you. We have some clients we've put in cabling for. We'll send them a card, or someone we've gone to their office and fixed something for whatever reason they did not, you know, sign a full-fledged contract with us. They still did business with us and contributed to our business. So we send them a card. Some other options, you know, people, I've been reading and listening. Some people who have, bigger clients. I know one client, one person sent their largest two clients, some like a candy basket or a fruit basket, stuff like that. You can send bottles of alcohol. I just say be careful with that to make sure that the person actually does drink it. And you don't send them, if you're going to send them a bottle of alcohol, send them a decent bottle of alcohol. I had a client last year, which was very interesting, who sent me Omaha steaks, which I thought was awesome, right? Now I looked at the bill. I was like, I can't afford to do that for all my clients, but for those who, for those are on the larger side, that's an option and something I'm thinking about now. So there are various things, but I think what's important is just to do something, some kind of gesture of thank you for your business. We have to keep in mind that, all our clients, whether, wherever we put them in our basket of client level, they do have options. And their option right now is to do business with us. And we should acknowledge that and appreciate it. Those are a couple of things that could be done. You want to add to that?
Oh, I definitely do. Um, so yeah, no. So as as you mentioned, being able to have the opportunity and the appreciation of your client, choosing you, right, and being able to say, hey, they provided you the opportunity to do business with them. They chose to do something local, and they chose not to go with possibly a national managed service provider. They're someone that understands the community, understands the city that you're in, they understand your business. And so we try to do the same. We try to support local. We try to go ahead and really spread the love, if as you will. So in the beginning we did do Garrett's popcorn, which is a Chicago staple
That's a great
here
idea.
as well. So we ended up doing that, and they have a lot of great holiday tins and things of that nature. So that was what we did one year. The next year we did Molly's cupcakes. I'm not sure if they're national or but they ended up opening up there was a franchise that opened up locally in the West Loop. So we decided to support them as we did. And then last year we actually decided to do a little bit more culture centric. So, as everyone may or may not know, I'm Puerto Rican descent. So, I ended up going with a fellow baker that had opened up their bakery, one in the north side of Chicago and one on the south side of Chicago, called Borinquen Cakes. And when I tell you these cakes are savory and delicious, you need to slap yourself and go ahead and get one, because they have all kinds of the natural essence of what a Puerto Rican household will have. They have the coquito, which is a holiday drink, which is similar to eggnog. They have thing of like what's called a passion fruit or a parcha type cupcake, and others inside there as well, a Nutella and things of that nature. So what we did was we grabbed for some of our smaller clients, we got the 4-pack, which are the bigger sized cakes, which are about the size of cupcakes. And then for our other clients, we got the mini ones so that they could spread out and reach out to their team. Now this was a hit. We love being able to do so of those, and then we went ahead and we're going to do that again this year as the holidays or the year end is approaching. But then there's the conversation of, well, what do you do for the clients that are remote? There's a lot of your team that may have a remote workforce. Not sure if you have any remote workforce clients, Rick, but if so, what are you doing for them to kind of spread the year end appreciation for their during this season?
Well, the easiest thing is to get a card out, and even for the remote clients, there's got to be a main address that things go to. Hopefully, it's
Sure.
not a PO box, but it may be. But we make sure a card gets out to them as well. Like I said, everyone gets a card, and then if we if we know that we're going to do something a little different or something special, we will figure out or try to find a way to make sure we know that address is something that they can get to that won't sit there and get spoiled if we're going to send them something,
Sure.
particularly food or or drink based or something like that. So food or liquid based, excuse me. But so that's what we're doing for. I don't think we have any remote clients that would get anything. I'd have to check, but I don't think we have any remote clients that would get anything quote unquote special.
Sure. Yeah, no. So what we do is we just do quick little simple e-cards. We'll go ahead and start if they're in the US, Starbucks or something of that nature. It's a quick, hey, appreciate you supporting us / dealing with us, right? And the staff will get something small, maybe like a $5 gift card or so, but like the office manager and the president, they'll get a little bit of something more substantial shipped to them, whether it's like you said, like a gift basket with like a wine or something of that nature, or it's like the charcuterie boards that they call it, or however you pronounce it, with the meat and cheeses and all that goodness situation. We tend to send that as well. So we do try to make sure that when we're trying to do anything food related or alcohol related or beverage related, that there are no allergies involved, because it'd be a terrible situation to send something and then talk about how your premium will go up. So that is something you want to go ahead and take a look at. And then one last thing we're kind of toying around here. As everyone knows, I had received a 3D printer for the holiday season. So I'm actually trying out little tchotchkes, little like things to go ahead and encase in some resin for coasters type situation. So
Cool.
I got a mass printing situation going on. We're going to put 4 coasters to a client, see if that works out for their kitchen, and see if the idea hits. It's kind of our rendition of the mug per se, that you would go ahead and ship out to your clients, which I hear mugs are a big thing too for a lot of people. If you mix them up and they're cheap enough, you can ship a mug to people for every holiday season so they can collect them all.
Now, here's a question for you. And this is something, we debate about, and I do it for what I consider those special people, right? So when you send a gift to a client, are you targeting the owner or are you targeting the office?
So it depends on the client. So if it is one of my favorite clients that are up north about 30 minutes away, love everybody that's in that office, down from the sales guy to the receptionist, the new office manager, the guys that make it in the back. So I'll bring something for everybody. So I'll go ahead and maybe go to like a bakery and whatnot and make sure there's enough that it can spread the love all around for them. If it's a smaller client, and let's say, for example, if it's someone that's remote, we don't really interact with all their staff, but we do interact with maybe the office manager and maybe like the key decision maker. We'll go ahead and send something to them, right? And that'll be kind of how that ranges. So it depends on the client and the relationship. That's kind of how we go forward with those.
Okay, I just asked the question. Like we one of the ideas we have a a fair amount of eye doctors, and I noticed that personally I always say this: I make friends with those at the front desk, because they make it easier for you to do your job.
100%.
They can be advocates for you when the owner or the doctor or the manager is not happy with something. They can be advocates for you. They can be very helpful for you with to you when you need something, when you need to call in, do something quick, whatever the case may be. So I always make sure that I try to acknowledge them, particularly the ones that that I've had I'd say just special or positive relationships with. So we will do something like I'll know, like, an example is we last year I bought a box of these gourmet teas because the girls in the office always drink tea, right? So I bought a selection of these gourmet teas. It was like 38 different teas from around the world. I can't remember where we got them from. We gave that to them. It was just something that it was a little different. It came in a box and it was for the office for them. some people in here's something. Some people like a doctor's office will have mints or some kind of candy or something at the desk, and we'll send them like a bag to fill that, a bag of candy or something to fill the jar, anything like that. It's just things that you notice that they do, that you can. It just will remind them of you when they're doing it. So I know when the girls drink their tea, they'll tell me, "Hey, this such and such tea was great. This one was too strong, whatever." And that's just something I've heard basically all year as I've gone in. They talk about it, or they're sitting there saying, "I'm drinking one of your teas now." So
okay, that sticks with them.
so exactly, it sticks with them. So those are some ideas. If you find out what's important, like you say, if they have a kitchen and there's something in there you can put in, contribute to the kitchen or whatever, that all the time is going to remind them of you. That always helps, because again, those a lot of times are your biggest advocates and biggest source of information when things are going on in the office.
Yep. No, I think those are all really great, and it really speaks to, being able to show tokens of appreciation for your clients, especially when you have those conversations. Like you mentioned the teas, it's just reminded me of one time a client actually gave a referral to us, and we ended up saying, "Hey, we appreciate it. We went ahead and honored your invoice." And he says, "Hey, part of the agreement I thought was going to be a red Ferrari." And so, no, red convertible. And I said, "What color do you want?" I said, "I forgot to ask you the color." He says, "Oh, it's got to be red." So what do I do in that joking manner is I go on Amazon and I order him a toy model red Ferrari convertible, and I had to ship to him. And that was a huge hit with the office. Everyone had a great laugh, and he kind of, came back and gave the joke, "Hey, it's weird. I had a red convertible Ferrari that went ahead and got dropped off in the front here from a trailer pack, and then I got an Amazon package. Which one did you send?" And so, yeah, so and it just shows like those are the things that just stick with you, and stick with them, and really trying to focus on like support and just appreciation as well. So yeah, so it's just you got to really make sure that you make it. If you are going to do this, you want to make sure that you do take an effort, right? You want to be able to really focus on, if you got to mail it in for budget reasons, obviously, you make it as personable as possible, but put some thought into it. Don't just do it to just do it, because that's really what's going to help you kind of figure it all out.
Yeah, and this may be a good idea too. Like I said, even for budgeting purposes, if you can't do anything else, if you get a card with your, whether you use a picture of your team, a picture of your logo, whatever you do, and some kind of holiday background, get a blank card, right? Handwrite to the people your message, whatever that message may be. It can be the same message to everybody. "Dear, such and such company, really appreciate your business," whatever, and sign it, right? That shows effort as well, because you hand wrote this. You didn't just buy a generic card and just send it to them like everybody else does, right? You at least took the time to handwrite, and those things, go a long way. Just again, it's that personal touch. So you don't necessarily have to, spend a lot. I would imagine you can send. I'm just saying, 50 cards may cost you, done right or whatever, may cost you $100. I'm not sure what the number is. I'd have to actually trace the number, but whatever it may cost you, right? That will go a long way. If you just take the time, handwrite it, send it to them, and actually handwrite the envelope as well. Ship it to them, drop it in the mail, whatever, or drop it to them, whatever you prefer to do. It just will go a long way. We just, again, no matter what the scenario is, our customers do have choices. They choose to do business with us. And we should just at least acknowledge that we understand that and we appreciate it. So, it's just my take on it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and break it down even further for you all, because as I've always said in the years, you got to spend two things. If you got the money and the resources, go ahead and take care of that for your clients. If you don't have the money and you don't have the resources, well, guess what you have? You have time, roll up those sleeves and get at it. Like, that's just where you kind of have to figure out and put that elbow grease in, which is what Rick said. You know, you can buy some blank cards, get them all shipped and go from there. If you're in the US, you can head over to Dollar Tree, get a box of those holiday cards. I think they're like 50 to 100 in a box. I can't remember exactly. Go ahead, and then you can put, and postage is 50 cents a stamp. So you're spending about $51 plus tax to go ahead and ship out those cards, handwritten, to go ahead and from there. So, you know, that might be a little something that you could do too as a quick hit, but got to roll up those elbows and start writing out those cards because you're going to need them.
And, you know, I'd say something's better than nothing. You know, even if it's the smallest gesture, it matters, and it carries some weight. So if, you know, again, like Paco's saying, you know, again, I can't spend anyone's money for them, but I can't see that being a huge investment, you know, $50 to $100 to just, and some time to write out some cards and drop them in the post office or the post, you know, the post, what you call those things, the mailbox, to get them over there. And again, I would do this as a last resort, but if none of the other things work, like Paco said in the beginning, an e-card. You know, drop an e-card, just, you know, and email it in. At least you said something to acknowledge them and their business.
Yep.
And that probably will cost you nothing. So
pretty much. So, you know, I think for me, as far as when it comes to the year-end things, these are some of the ideas that we have as well. But, you know, I'd be remiss to myself to not look at the year end and talk about some of the wins, losses, and goals that we have for this coming week and next week, Rick. So not sure if you want to switch gears for a little bit, unless you had anything else to add on to some year end gift ideas for your clients.
You go right ahead.
All right. So I was figuring we could open up a new little segment on the show once we go ahead and talk on a topic, which I'm now doing to you what you did to me last week, is we go ahead and talk about if you had a win, a loss, and your goal for either this week / next week, so that we can go ahead and report back to the lovely audience to listen in on what we're doing with our business. So, Mr. Rick Smith, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot it over to you and say, is there a win this week, a loss, or a goal that you're hoping to have done by next week?
Let's see. It's no wins I could speak of this week so far. It's Tuesday. I'll get one this week though. But I do have a goal. I have a client and a potential client that I'm going to be seeing on Thursday. Sorry. So, and this actually just occurred today that this appointment got made. This was a referral from a current client to help a friend of his out, to possibly, you know, use our services. So that the goal next week, hopefully I can report that, you know, this was a successful visit and we have a contract signed or a contract coming forward or something positive along that nature, that we're doing something to add to the bottom line. So that's the goal for next week.
Sounds good. And so the whole point of that is to make sure that we hold each other accountable for the next week and see what the story is for there to keep this fine show fresh. But for us, we had 2 wins actually. One win is we are in process of raising our clients' pricing, which is never a comfortable conversation. And one of my longest clients, I come to find out we never had an agreement with them, which is terrible. But love the office manager. She has always been in our corner. She has always helped us. They started off with 3 people in one location. They've expanded to 15 people in 3 locations. And no, I'm sorry, 18 people at 3 locations. So, you know, they're steadily growing. They're steadily going from there. And, you know, when I scheduled a meeting, the owner actually told the office manager, hey, you know, we're going to have to talk to them because, you know, budgets are getting a little tight, you know, see if they can give us a discount. And so, you know, when I scheduled a meeting, I said, oh, unfortunately, the conversation is actually to talk about raising your rates. And so, you know, explain why we need to do it and she understood the value, right? And really working with a positive and a great IT team. And, you know, she went ahead, she had a call with the owner at the time. And they basically came back and said, look, they said basically, okay, well, if you can't lower the price, we're going to have to shop around. And, the office manager was like, no, that's BS. Like, we're not going to do that. Like, there's too much. We got too much on our plate. We got a lot going on. No, we're just going to sign the agreement, and we're kind of go from there. And so, really appreciated the understanding of, what we're bringing to the table, the positivity of that. So that was a win for us from there. Another win that we had was it's kind of off, kind of crazy, or kind of ironic. So there was a location that we were looking to do an RFP for. And it was told to me by another colleague who worked at another managed service provider, told me about the RFP, looked at it, said it, went ahead and put a submission for it, and didn't hear anything. Come to find out that through my nonprofit board activities, we had a holiday celebration for the local hospital that I sit under, nonprofit / foundation board, and the owner was there. And so when the executive director was making introductions, like, oh, do you know so and so? And I said, actually informally I do. And so no, I said, oh, you're from this company. And she's like, yeah, that's actually really good. I said, well, okay. I said, to put my cards on the table, I only know of you because I actually put in an RFP for your business X amount of weeks ago. And so I know who you are because I knew that you were, in our circles. And she was like, wait a minute, you put a RFP proposal in there? She's like, I didn't see anything come in. We're talking to someone, but no, I need you to go ahead and contact so-and-so. Give me your card. I'm gonna take a picture of it. My team will call you and reach out. So, didn't think anything of it and kind of went from there and appreciate it. Turns out that she actually served on the board of the hospital for many years before stepping off. Come to find out, get a LinkedIn message today. It says, hey, so-and-so is going to send you an email to schedule a meeting. We'd love to talk to you. We want to see what you have to bring. So another win on just,
Awesome.
Going out there and putting your cards on the table to discuss what's going on. So those are a potential opportunity that I will let you know if a contract is hopefully, if the meeting has happened or a contract can be agreed before the end of the year. But yeah, those are the two things that I have to report this week.
Awesome. And even though you surprised me with it, I do like this segment. This will be awesome to end each week. But yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap up and get out of here today. Make it a quick show and let everyone enjoy the rest of their evening or whenever you're listening. But I again want to thank everyone. We ask you to look out. We will have some announcements coming up very soon for TechCon Unplugged, and some other things, and some some small changes coming to the channel, some things we'd like to implement, and some things we'd like to get your feedback on. But with that, I'm gonna say that's it for me. Paco, anything you want to add?
Head over to patreon.com/MSP Unplugged if you'd like to go ahead and support the show. Right now, it's $1 an episode to support our cause. We will have some changes in the new year. For everyone listening to this episode, you can ignore everything that I said in the past. We're still trying to figure out how we can do the monthly contribution versus just it being $1 an episode. So continue to keep going through that platform, and we will go ahead and make sure we update you as we figure it all out. And MSP Unplugged.
Sounds good. So, right, well, we're going to wrap it up here. We ask you again, as always, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. You can watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. And we're also on facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. You can also find us on LinkedIn. We're live there as well. We would like for you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to be notified whenever a new episode is available. For those of you listening to us and think we have a face for radio, you can always catch us on your favorite podcatcher app. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Right now, I want to thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.